Papa, you can't sell expired food.
You right.
Oh no, that snack in the cupboard you were craving has expired. Or has it? Well, here are 10 foods you can still eat after the expiry date. Milk.
It expires tomorrow.
Milk party!
A tall glass of ice-cold milk can be both refreshing and nutritious. Milk is one of those everyday items found almost everywhere and in everything. The most versatile dairy product of them all, milk is used as a swimming pool for your morning cereal or to give your scrambled eggs more volume and fluffiness. Of course, we can't leave out one of the most iconic frozen desserts now, can we? Yes, ice cream in all its glorious forms owes its frosty existence to milk, and ice cream enthusiasts have been thanking the dairy product ever since.
Ice cream!
At the end of the day, the problem with the calcium-packed white liquid is the fact that it's a dairy product, and dairy products tend to expire rather quickly. So you're going to have to pay attention to that expiry date before purchasing in order to enjoy the frosty glass of milk while it's fresh. Or do you? Well, not exactly. The expiration date on milk is more of a sell-by rather than a use-by date.
I understand nothing.
Meaning you can still have that glass of milk without having to worry about spewing the white stuff all over your kitchen. Milk is generally safe to use or consume a couple of days after the date printed on the container. If you haven't broken the seal on the container, even better. So drink up and get your calcium fix worry-free. Bread.
Garlic bread. Want some?
The smell of a freshly baked loaf of bread is one of those aromas that can trigger a flood of memories and emotions. Perhaps the thought of walking by a local bakery after school only to have that instantly recognizable aroma waft into your nostrils, or walking through your front door and being greeted by the smell of a fresh loaf being pulled out of the oven comes to mind. Whatever your thoughts and feelings may be after taking in that glorious smell, you will undoubtedly be in a pleasant place.
I love it here.
Bread has been with us since early times and quickly became a game-changer food item. Bread is as versatile as it is delicious, with hundreds, if not thousands, of variations being baked around the world at any given moment. While most folks tend to enjoy a fresh loaf when making a sandwich or a slice for buttering, you'll be just fine if you sink your teeth into bread after it's past its expiry date. However, that slice will likely be a bit stale, so you may want to turn your stale bread into a golden brown piece of toast. Just keep your eyes out for mold, as the presence of mold obviously means your bread is no longer suitable for the grilled cheese you're about to make for yourself.
What is that, mold?
It's cheese.
A great way to extend the shelf life of your bread is to pop it into the freezer until you're ready to start eating it. Peanut butter.
I need peanut butter.
For breakfast?
Peanut butter is one of those foods that seems to be a part of Americana. The thick spread first made its way onto slices of bread in the late 1800s. Though the popular notion is that the American scientist and inventor George Washington Carver created peanut butter, the sandwich spread was actually invented in Montreal, Canada in the late 1800s. Regardless of its origin, peanut butter is enjoyed all over North America and across the planet.
I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it!
The spread has proven to be a versatile cooking ingredient as well, with tasty creations like peanut butter cookies, brittle, and many South Asian dishes owing their existence to peanut butter. If that wasn't enough, peanut butter also happens to be packed with nutrients like protein and is high in calories, which makes it perfect for an after-exercise meal.
Almost pure protein.
Yet another plus for the nut spread is that you can consume it after its expiry date. If that jar of peanut butter in your pantry hasn't been opened yet, you're safe to eat it for many months beyond the expiry date written on the jar. However, this applies to the processed variety of peanut butter. You may not be so lucky with the organic stuff. Just don't forget to pair with jelly, bread, or just eat it right out of the jar. Your choice. First time here? Well then take a quick second to hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Hard cheese.
Cheddar wins it!
It's hard to imagine a world without cheese. With many of the world's favorite dishes having the tangy dairy product as a chief ingredient, cheese gives whatever dish it happens to be a part of an exclamation point.
That is delicious.
Whether slowly melting over the sides of pizza, in the case of mozzarella, or bubbling between two slices of bread, in the case of grilled cheese, cheese is both delicious and versatile. Of course, the harder cheeses, like Parmesan, are ideal for those baked classics like lasagna lasagna, among others. As fantastic as cheese may be, it is a food item that must be stored properly to get the most out of it. The food item is also built to last, so to speak, as most cheeses are good for about 6 to 7 months if kept sealed. However, this does not mean you can't continue to enjoy that expired cheese.
I need cheese.
Have you happened to discover a section of mold on your beloved block of cheese? Simply pull out a knife and cut the undesirable piece off, and you're good to go. Chocolate.
Chocolate? Chocolate? Chocolate!
Chocolate has a history almost as rich as the food item itself. First popping up in Central America as early as 1750 BCE, chocolate has been enjoyed by the Olmecs and other Central Mesoamericans ever since. After being discovered by the rest of the world, it didn't take long for chocolate to become one of the most popular sweet treats, baking ingredients, and overall beloved foods on the planet.
Chocolate! It's chocolate! I love chocolate!
In the mood for a tasty bite with some bits of the good stuff? A chocolate chip cookie is your answer. Or a rich and chewy fudge brownie may be what your heart desires. Perhaps a piping hot beverage, the likes of a cafe mocha or good old-fashioned hot chocolate is more to your liking. Whatever the case, chocolate covers all the bases.
New flavor, triple chocolate.
It also happens to be a food item that, despite the expiration date, can be consumed without worry. Believe it or not, the dark variety of chocolate is perfectly safe to eat for an unbelievable 2 years if left out of its packaging. The more popular variety, the beloved milk chocolate, can be enjoyed for around a year after ripping it from its packaging. The same can be said about white chocolate, with the white stuff being perfectly edible for around 1 year after opening. Not only is chocolate lip-smacking good, it also stands the test of time in more ways than one. Potato chips.
I love potato chips.
Potato chips are my favorite.
What would a snack selection be without the salty crunch of the old faithful potato chip? Yes, the deep-fried golden brown deliciousness that is the potato chip is a snacking staple, classic treat. And like many of the popular snacks out there, the varieties are plentiful. With their origin going back to 19th century New York, the savory snack has grown beyond the borders of the Big Apple and stretched all over the planet.
You know what's good? Chips!
From British crisps to the cheesiness of Doritos, and of course, the uniquely Canadian flavors like ketchup chips are the go-to snack when the palate is in dire need of a salty crunch. As fantastic as a snack that chips are, they can quickly lose their appeal if left out in the open and become stale. Now, this doesn't mean you can't still eat that open bag of formerly crunchy chips. Quite the contrary. So feel free to safely enjoy that stale bag of chips. However, the experience, while perfectly safe, may not be the greatest.
You sure you don't want to just give her some chips?
No, we're not giving her chips.
Do yourself a favor and open a fresh bag, and this time, remember to seal the bag. Your palate will thank you. Yogurt.
Yogurt?
Never.
Certain flavor combinations are iconic and can be quite interesting. Where would the world be without peanut butter and jelly? Chocolate and peanut butter, anyone? Over in the condiment department, how about ketchup and mustard?
Extra ketchup, extra mustard.
But if we want to talk about foods that practically beg to be paired with other flavors, let's talk about yogurt. If you find yourself craving rich and tangy meets fruity and sweet, then yogurt has your back. From strawberry, coconut, vanilla, and even chocolate, yogurt is the smooth, creamy answer to satisfy your craving. Yogurt has even given ice cream a run for its money, with frozen yogurt being a very popular and healthier alternative to its frosty cousin. The tangy treat is not simply for dessert, as many across the country enjoy yogurt as a part of lunch or even a creamy breakfast.
Yogurt pretzels, anyone?
Ooh, me.
Yogurt often finds itself as an ingredient in cooking, with the tangy dairy products serving as a base in sauces and dips. However, as refreshing a treat yogurt can be, it, of course, has an expiry date. Luckily, you can still enjoy yogurt about a week after the expiry date that's printed on the container has passed. Dairy products such as yogurt and cheese are already, in a way, expired to begin with, as those particular dairy products require spoilage to become their tangy, delicious selves. So it seems fitting that they would be safe to eat after the expiration period. Dried pasta. Pasta, pasta, pasta. Delicious, versatile, and enjoyed by millions, pasta is not only a fundamental part of Italian cuisine, variations of pasta are used around the world just as prominently in some of the most iconic dishes. When it comes to good old Italy, spaghetti would likely be the first pasta dish most people think of. Complete with marinara sauce, generous amounts of Parmesan, and perhaps a few meatballs, spaghetti is about as classic a pasta dish there is. Chinese cuisine would simply not be the same without copious amounts of noodles. Chow mein's foundation is the Chinese noodle. Pasta also happens to be a staple in many comfort foods across the country. Southern gems like rustic mac and cheese would be nothing without the macaroni. And macaroni salad is probably the most famous summer side dish, resting comfortably beside a baked potato and a nice juicy steak. The list goes on and on regarding pasta and its influence on the world, and it seems like in its normally dried state, pasta would keep forever. This, of course, is not the case, but no need to worry about that pesky expiry date. Pasta in its dried form can last around 2 years when left in its package, and a year after you take it out of the package.
Pasta it is.
So, manja, manja, manja. Frozen food.
What is this, the frozen food section?
Frozen food was made for it to last. The concept of freezing food was not only a cost saver, it allowed many foods that would otherwise expire rather quickly to be thawed and enjoyed at much later dates.
Nothing.
Not a blessed thing.
Hey, there's frozen pizza.
How in the world did that get there?
Foods such as fruit and vegetables that would normally expire can now be eaten well after the purchase date. Meat is also a food that benefits from frozen preservation. Popping that fresh fish, a few cuts of steak, or those thick pork chops in the freezer after your trip to the grocery store will ensure that you have meat ready for quite some time. But occasionally, you may open up your freezer intending to grill up a nice steak and find the dreaded freezer burn covering your cut of beef. However, despite that freezer burn, you can still enjoy all of that frozen food cluttering up your freezer.
Scrape out that freezer. Give me that juice.
The taste and quality starts to deteriorate, but it's fine to eat for a very long time after the expiration date. So pull that bag of frozen peas and carrots that you bought 9 months ago out of the freezer and eat up without a care in the world. Canned food.
Ooh, cans of beans.
Canned goods revolutionized the food industry. It gave early travelers the opportunity to voyage without worrying whether their food supply would be safe to eat, as the canning process made certain that foods would keep for a very long time. Many of the modern household staples also happen to be found in a can. For example, tuna, the versatile canned fish, is ideal for sandwiches and even the suburban classic tuna casserole.
What do you think, Pounce, when I split a can of tuna?
Beans, sauces, vegetables, and even fruit all have their canned versions. And where would Chef Boyardee be if it weren't for the canning process?
What am I even eating?
That is 20-year-old Chef Boyardee ravioli.
That guy was good.
With almost anything you can think of being put into a can, humanity owes a great deal of gratitude and many years' worth of worry-free eating to the tin can. With that in mind, canned foods will last for years, provided the can is undamaged. If the can itself is in good condition, open it up and eat to your heart's content.
Delicious.
If you're ever feeling adventurous, a good practical joke is to remove the labels from some of your cans. This makes for quite a fun little mystery game, unless you forgot to take the canned dog food out of the pantry when attempting this particular party trick. Stick around, leave a comment, tap or click on another great video, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell.